Can we just talk about CodeMonkeys? CodeMonkeys came out in about 2007 and ran until about 2008. It came from the mind of one Adam de la Peña. Adam's works consist of writing for The Man Show and Late Night with some dude in a suit, but he's also the creator of shows like Your Dungeons, My Dragons, which was a show set in a video game world, but using more RPG fantasy tropes. Or his newest work, which is The Outsiders, which again was another show set in a video game world, but this one again using sci-fi elements instead. So the point I'm trying to make here is that he knows what he likes and he sticks to it. So CodeMonkeys was his first, and God, it was unique. For those of you that don't know, CodeMonkeys was a show about two video game programmers that worked for Gameavision, one of the world's largest video game developers of the 1980s. Well, not really, but that is the history the show is going with. The show is very much a period piece about early video gaming culture, right down to the actual visuals and how the show is presented. It's presented as though you were actually playing a video game, from your score actually changing based on what the player does in the top left, and the ever-changing health in the right. It allows for a variety of interesting jokes that just wouldn't work in any other format. But the interesting thing is, when it comes to the actual humor of the show, is it relies heavily on reference humor. From actually talking about stuff that was topical at the time, or actually retelling major video game milestones.
Maybe the kids won't notice that it sucks. I mean, they're just kids, right?
Let's take a ride in the
This sucks!
Avoid spilled juice. Avoid spilled juice.
the universe.
This game is giving me more cancer!
Upon my interstellar bound.
E.T. They should have called this game VD.
Oh, this is just great. All I wanted was for this game to be good. God, that's all I asked for. You made my parents get divorced, and you killed my baby sister, and all I asked you was for this game to kick ass. Thanks a lot.
No, E.T., the game is terrible!
Sometimes it just could be where the idea for a movie came from.
You won't get caught, dude. And when Mary finds out what a rebel you are, she won't be able to resist you.
The big difference is that our main characters are at the center of these events, creating them, or being a part of them, or the seed that spawns an idea. Retelling or reimagining, I guess is the best way I can put it. But if you don't get any of these references, the show won't really hold much for you initially. It will most likely come off as a quick-to-offend, gross-out cartoon with little to no subtlety or intelligence. That's the thing about CodeMonkeys. It is really well thought out. It's just about very specific things. Like this episode. It perfectly sets up why MJ was the way he was in his later years.
With me. Ask everybody.
Really? It's fine. I'm confused. Claire freaked me out, and now this? I just remembered. I have to go.
Hurry back, Latoya! I love a gal who plays hard to molest. You'd want to see some real live animal.
This one's so beautiful.
But compared to you, I think it looks like a lump of You want to touch it?
Okay. Why isn't he in a cage? Isn't that my nose! My beautifully proportioned rounded nose!
Step aside, everybody. I have this bleach.
My beautiful black face!
It is filled with liquid oxygen.
Cool. Burn him if you got him, dudes.
Tadonia? What's Tadonia?
What is Tadonia? It's only a mythical land where no one is unhappy and no one ever gets old.
Can I go there?
No! What are you, an idiot? It's mine! However, you may build an imaginary land of your own, and it may be sited in the vicinity of Tadonia.
I'm gonna call my Narnia.
You may not, for that land is mine as well.
How about Neverland?
Surprisingly, that would be okay. Peter Pan was published before 1923, which allows you unfettered use of Mr. J.M. Barrie's creation.
Thank you.
About Neverland.
That's the place I live. All the animals are in cages so they can't eat my nose. And no grown-ups who want to touch me are allowed.
Adam put a lot of thought into making that joke work. He really did a lot to create a sense of reason behind Michael Jackson's action and made them feel natural, all while stringing together a cohesive narrative that focuses on our main characters of the show. Adam knows how to commit to the bit. All the characters are well written and serve their roles, even if the roles might come off a little bit tropish. And they play them perfectly. They all do have unique and interesting backgrounds and personal skeletons that they must bear. The thing, though, is the show doesn't care. None of the characters really grow or change throughout the 2 seasons. They're all just pretty static. despite many of the characters being forced to face or work through their personal shortcomings and past demons, they just kind of forget about them at the end of the episode. And by the next one, they're just the same old asshats that they've been the whole time. A lot of people, myself included, would normally say that this is a shortcoming, a negative aspect of the show. But honestly, I think this is the type of show that it lends to. A show doesn't need to be deep to do its job. Much like, say, something like Seinfeld. This show is about a cast of jerks being just that. Jerks aren't meant to change. They're meant to stay adamant to who they are, whether it be selfish, lecherous, lazy, dick-headed, etc. If the characters stopped being jerks, then we wouldn't have much of anything to laugh at or enjoy. We could not have that good cathartic fuck you to the norm, or fuck you to the boss. Or maybe we would miss out on the joys of seeing Dave or Todd getting their comeuppance for being such a huge jerk in the whole episode. The show doesn't apologize for what it says or does, and as a viewer you shouldn't ask it to. You're supposed to just laugh at it. It evens the playing field by making fun of everyone, whether you're Jewish or Asian, or fat or weird, or a nerd or a jock. At its core, CodeMonkeys is unique. It's a fun, insulting show that when it wants to will slow down and put together a great joke that really showcases how clever and witty Adam can be. Then it goes back to video game references and cheap shots at all colors and creeds. Both seasons are on Netflix if you want to go watch them. Go, do it. It's a show that deserves your time, and let's be honest, who doesn't love a fun, insult-driven show every now and then? Oh.
Hecky! それよりお願いだから、おとなしく座っててくれないか。